Ladies and gentlemen, this is huge. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. You have a liberal Supreme Court justice, a renowned, esteemed, respected, liberal Supreme Court justice, Elena Kagan, siding with President Trump, literally stating the exact argument of Solicitor General Sauer, backing Trump on ending nationwide injunctions. You'll hear her in a second. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. It took place in 2022, but it's just as relevant today. Quote, "It just can't be right," Justice Elena Kagan said in remarks in 2022, and you'll hear her in a second at Northwestern University Law School, at Northwestern University's Law School. Quote, "That one district judge can stop a nationwide policy in its tracks and leave it stopped for the years that it takes to go through the normal process." She opposed nationwide injunctions within that statement. And she stated exactly the concern that President Trump has, that Biden has. AOC, Ron Wyden, Democrats literally told Biden to ignore, well, AOC literally told Biden to ignore a federal court nationwide injunction because it emanated in Texas and it stopped a pill that Democrats wanted on the market. And it was a nationwide injunction that AOC told Anderson Cooper only the president has the power to enforce, and that he should ignore a federal court ruling. AOC told CNN's Anderson Cooper that. And nobody's bringing up the fact that AOC told the world that Biden should ignore a nationwide injunction. And then you can go to Ron Wyden and spend like a whole hour talking about judge shopping, and you will hear that right now. This is Elena Kagan siding with President Trump. This is exactly what Solicitor General John Sauer, President Trump, everyone in Trump's administration is stating. Check this out. Hit subscribe. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Supreme Court ruling that's about to take place. Ending nationwide injunctions.
You have more time and more inputs, and that's the problem with the shadow docket and or the emergency docket, and why it is that it should be kept for pretty rare circumstances. You know, again, there are those circumstances, and there have been some recent issues that really have brought this to the fore, and I think made the court, more likely to use this form of decision making, which I understand. In recent years, some district courts have issued nationwide injunctions, and this happened in the Trump administration, and it has also happened in the Biden administration. So this has no political tilt to it. But some district courts have, very quickly issued nationwide injunctions to stop a policy in its tracks. That something that the president and or Congress has determined to be the national policy, and it just one district court stops it. And then you combine that with the ability of people to forum shop, to go to a particular district court where they think that will be the result. And you look at something like that and you think, well, that can't be right, that one district court, whether it's in the Trump years, people used to go to the Northern District of California. And in the Biden years, they go to Texas. And it just can't be right that one district judge can stop a nationwide policy in its tracks and leave it stopped for the years that it takes to go through normal process.
So Elena Kagan just stated that in Trump's first administration, Democrats would go to Northern California, find a federal judge there to issue a nationwide injunction. And in the Biden years, conservatives, Republicans would go to Texas and get a federal judge to issue a nationwide injunction there. She stated categorically that it just can't be right. It's right here. Okay. We'll get to this latest Supreme Court victory in a second, but the Supreme Court ruled after a federal court ruled against Trump. The Supreme Court ruled that Trump can fire two agency department heads. Okay, news media is stating, oh, these are independent agencies. No, they're not independent agencies. They're run by liberal Democrats, and that's how Democrats, traditional Republicans and Democrats, mainly Democrats, what they do is they act in an authoritarian, totalitarian manner. And if you want to, a lot of people are fond now of saying, well, Trump is an authoritarian, he's a tyrant, he's a fascist. Trump he's a despot. And you have complete and utter imbeciles stating that, oh, all the checklists, all the checklists are, you can check each box of how Trump is an authoritarian. Authoritarians, number one, want to continue endless wars. Trump wants to end them. Authoritarians want to curtail and silence and censor speech. That's what the Trust and Safety team at Twitter did. That's what, working with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which was a clear violation of the First Amendment, to silence opposing political dialogue. All Democrats had to do was get intel agencies or the 50 intel officials to sign off on an absurd document stating that Hunter's laptop was a Kremlin operation. Same thing with the DNC emails. They said it was, of course, Russia's effort to inform you of how corrupt Democrats are, thus influencing you to vote for Trump. Okay. What happens is the Democratic Party is very good at using a Byzantine, gargantuan bureaucracy to act in a despotic manner. So instead of the edict of one despot, what they'll do in a very creative, bureaucratic manner is utilize a monstrous bureaucracy. And in this case, they're judge shopping. In this case, they're trying to, that's not really despotic, but they're judge shopping. The nationwide injunctions are meant to legislate, because they can't legislate in Congress. They're not even proud of their alleged value system. If they want to stop any of President Trump's executive orders, they can go through Congress. Okay, they can go through Congress. Congress can stop an executive order, so can the Supreme Court, but they don't want to legislate. They don't want to pass a bill. Democrats don't want to pass a bill protecting undocumented immigrants who potentially committed crimes. Okay, they don't want. So what they'll do is they'll go through federal judges, try to get nationwide injunctions from liberal federal judges, one of 690 different regions of the country. And that's exactly what Elena Kagan was stating. She's siding with Trump 2 years ago when Biden was in office. Okay, just like AOC stated categorically to the world, Biden should ignore a federal court injunction, nationwide injunction. But the point is, Trump is the antithesis of a despot. He wants to stop endless wars. He goes through the courts all the time. He routinely wins Supreme Court rulings, more so than Democrats. The Colorado ban was overturned. The Democrats tried to imprison the direct political opponents through bureaucracy, through this labyrinth of bureaucracy. And media is also an echo chamber of the Democratic Party. Trump is a two-term president, won the popular vote, yet almost all of media is against Trump. So how can that be possible? Democrats are very good at utilizing bureaucracy in a despotic manner. The point is, though, just the checklist. You have complete imbeciles stating, oh, Trump is a despot. And he marks all the boxes. Okay. They went after Trump in Democratic-run in Tammany Hall in New York for the most absurd accusations. They said he inflated his net worth, or that he paid Stormy $100,000, and that was a campaign finance violation. It certainly was not. The FEC dropped the case. In fact, they fined Clinton, the DNC, for purchasing the Steele dossier. But look at the boxes. They created a Trump-Russia hoax. They needed a scapegoat. Despots utilize scapegoats. Despots utilize massive bureaucracies, intel agencies to set up their political opponents, fund endless wars, want to disarm you, want to silence you. That's the Democratic Party. They were about to create a Ministry of Truth. That wasn't the exact name, but they stopped that. Literally, like George Orwell would say, oh my God, the Democrats are literally creating a ministry of truth like in 1984. But anyway, hit subscribe to this channel right now. What President Trump is doing is going to the Supreme Court, routinely winning, because a lot of these things the Democrats are doing are actually unconstitutional. Hit subscribe to this channel. Also, he runs the executive branch. So he can fire anyone he wants as long as they're in the executive branch. Hit subscribe, though. This is huge. Elena Kagan siding with Trump. You heard it here. Hit subscribe.